Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
And
Oh, Facebook.
hello over there. Says we're live. Hello, folks. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Comic Shop Talk Live, brought to you by Black Cat Comics and Rock and Milpitas, your one-stop shop for all things superhero. Shop online at black-cat-comics.com. We're keeping you connected to the comic book community. I'm Mark.
I'm Francie.
And this week is the fifth Wednesday of the month, which always makes for a wacky time in comics. But we got a lot of good books this week to talk about.
Yeah.
And some exciting news and all kinds of fun stuff going on this week. This is an interactive show, so feel free to join in on the conversation. We want to hear about what you're reading this week, what you're excited to read this week, what you're looking forward to, all those things that you want to talk about in comics. Send us your questions, queries, comments, and we'll do our best to rectify those for you.
I'm just mesmerized by the awesome Alex Ross art.
Oh, yes. There's lots of Alex Ross to talk about.
That is gorgeous.
It sure is, especially for an FF fan like me.
Man.
I always say, nobody needs four cover copies of the same book.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, I do.
We do. For that one, we do.
So, yes, lots of Alex Ross to talk about, lots of Joker to talk about.
There's always lots of Joker.
Like I say, for a fifth Wednesday, there's a lot going on. But we always like to start the show with Comic Shop News. Comic Shop News.
Comic Shop News.
The big news in this particular comic shop is the launch of Black Cat Publishing. Our Kickstarter launched at midnight, October 1st. And kaboom!
Incredible.
Why don't you share about how our last couple of days have gone with that?
So it's been phenomenal and humbling and overwhelming and exciting. The first day we met 50% of our goal. So thank you. A lot of our folks donated way more than we asked. So I'm just blown away by that.
Yes. Thank you all so much for your support.
We can look right now. I can tell you.
Financial, emotional, social media, all those kind of things that everybody's been doing. This is the response has tremendously exceeded our expectation and our highest level of optimism. So we really, really appreciate it.
So it looks like we're going to be making a comic.
Looks like we're going to be making a comic.
As of right now, we are 76% funded with 28 more days to go. So
yeah, we've only been at it for 3 days and we're 76% of the way there. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Michael.
We're very excited to get this together, to get this program going, start publishing some comics. We think you're going to be really, really happy with the results.
What is happening with my hair today? There's something not quite right. Sorry, I got distracted.
Quite all right. That's what happens when you can see yourself in the camera. I keep doing the same thing with my hat.
It's very weird.
My very cool Black Cat Comics hat to prevent
your
the bonus
trucker
head.
That's you have to wear it like that now. That's the trucker head. That's total trucker head.
That's bonus head.
Woo woo!
So, like we said, it's been a really exciting couple of days for us. I'm going to have to get the publishing aspect of this in gear because it's all going a lot faster. Like I say, than we'd even dared hope. So thank you all for that.
Thank you.
We've got a little bit of a ways to go. So keep on supporting, keep on sharing and all that on the social media. Let's get Black Cat Chronicles rolling.
We got like 2,000 views on our YouTube channel for that.
Yes. The YouTube thing's been nuts. The Facebook thing's been nuts.
And we got picked by Kickstarter as a project they loved. So we're on a Kickstarter. I don't know what that is exactly, but
we're on their homepage. We're spotlighted. We're I don't know, whatever.
Highlighted. I don't know.
Because of your incredible response.
At least I have hair. Nice. Thank you, Michael. Yes, you're right.
We got on their radar as something that's taken off and something that's popular, and so they put us on the homepage. And like I say, just couldn't be more excited about that. It's tons and tons of fun, and we're really excited to get the book out. I'm excited to get this first issue out. I'm excited to get to work on the next issue. Theoretically, excited to get started on the second title.
Yes. Black Cat Tales.
So that's the big comic shop news. That's the news here in our comic shop. is that Black Cat Publishing is a thing, and you guys want it, and so we're bringing it to you.
Thank you.
And it's going to be awesome, and thank you very much.
Is there any other news this week?
Is there other news this week?
I'm trying to think. Anything I've come across? You guys see anything interesting in the news this week?
Are you being?
CBR had something. No, I'm not being aloof.
No, we stick to the comic news here.
Yeah, no.
I guess there's always the movie news and things like that, but I haven't seen any kind of big publishing news or any.
I think New York Comic Con virtual is supposed to be happening this weekend or next weekend.
I don't know, but it's right around the corner. Yeah, another one of those big virtual experience things.
I'm liking those.
I am too. I think it's
the wave of the future.
It seems that way. Certainly next year. I think next year that will be the way to go. I foresee a world where both is happening. I think Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, all the big shows can still stay huge and do the broadcast thing. I don't think doing the webisodes, whatever you want to call them, the online events will detract from the local audiences. And if I don't know, regardless, I think they'll keep it going because it seems like really great outreach and it's a lot of fun.
It's fun. It's good times. Maybe you buy like a virtual ticket and you can get into all the panels without having to travel. Yeah.
Something. But it seems like a lot of fun. I give all the credit in the world to San Diego Comic-Con, DC Comics, New York Comic-Con, all these folks that are putting these things together on the fly. Because much like most of us in 2020, we're all just sort of making it up as we go along.
Oh, that's right, Farhan. Thank you. So we'll get to that. That was the news I was thinking of. You got into my noodle. Thank you. So answering John's question, yes, John, we are open for curbside pickup. So we've got two options. We've got virtual store appointments. You can book an appointment and we can walk you through the store virtually, show you what we got. We've got everything on our online store as well. So you can make a purchase online and then you can book a curbside pickup. So nice and easy, contactless and safe. Farhan, yeah. So Farhan, Todd McFarlane announced that he's doing a Spawn cover. I think 311, right? Yeah, 311.
Next issue.
Of Chadwick Boseman as Spawn, and it's beautiful and it's amazing. And kudos to Todd for doing that. I think that's awesome. So get your pre-orders in now because I don't think we ordered any more. It might be too late.
The order goes in this Sunday.
I get a lot more.
So, I plan on getting quite a few. But don't bug me the day it comes out. Don't bug me the Monday before it comes out. You'll be too late. So get it on your list like right now if you want one. I'm going to order a bunch of them, but with something like this, you can't ever order enough.
Classy.
So, yes. Get it on your list and all that stuff.
You're welcome, John.
And yes, kudos to you, Todd. That's a classy move. I appreciated, see if I can find one handy. Marvel has done a whole thing this week.
Oh, look at the back.
With honoring Chadwick Boseman. You've got art, and there's a tribute by Brian Stelfreeze on the inside. More art. Can't say enough about Chadwick Boseman and what he brought to Marvel Comics, to all of us, to everything. And so I appreciate things like this. And I appreciate, what's especially cool that Todd's getting in on this, because obviously Black Panther is not an Image Spawn character. Chadwick Boseman had nothing to do with Image Comics or Spawn. So it's just classy to acknowledge him in that way.
Yeah.
And so
right.
Good job, Todd.
Well, and Todd and Marvel have a checkered past, so
to say the least.
I was trying to be diplomatic.
So like I say, kudos to him. Honestly, I won't go all into it, but I thought, like I say, I'll just stick with him and say kudos. Good job. Way to be classy.
Yeah, Michael, I'm the virtual events that have been happening, like with all the political stuff, they've been really fun. Like the Princess Bride one, I don't know if you were able to see it. Oh, I was verklempt. That was just the best thing ever.
That was a ton of fun.
And I I don't know. Are you looking forward to in-person conventions again? I think I'm gonna have PTSD around being in crowds for a while.
Yeah, but I have to say, am I looking forward to it? Not in the moment.
No.
But I definitely miss it. I miss the toy show. I don't necessarily, strangely enough, I don't necessarily miss the big shows, even though I love them and can go on and on. It's not a slight at all.
Yeah.
But I'm a little, germophobic at the moment, and so I'm not
You've
missing
always
the
been,
big.
though.
I've always been.
Yeah.
So I'm not really missing the big shows in that respect. Plus, we did go to one. We did go to Chicago just like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But I do miss the toy shows. I miss the quarterly, the
shows.
little thing, the diving in back
Our
issue
own
bins,
show.
and I will definitely miss our swap meet this year. I'm already missing the Rocky Milpitas. What is it? Not pre-Comic-Con, Comic-Con. It's the Spooktacular, the Halloween Spooktacular.
Oh, yeah, that.
We're still doing it, but it's not going to be exactly the same.
Speaking of virtual.
But yeah, I am. I'm missing the toy show. I'm missing the little get-togethers. I'm missing back issue bin diving. Little things like
looking at people's cosplay, like, oh, look at that. Look over there. Look at that.
So, like I say, I don't know, honestly, if they'll get it all going gung-ho again by next year. Or even if they do, I don't know if they'll have the responses.
Force Fest.
But certainly in the next couple of years, they'll get it back together.
Nice, Michael. The Force Fest 2020 Star Wars celebration that was canceled. Some great panels. Was it free, or did you have to pay for it?
I love these kind of things. Two things about these virtual events that I find extremely cool and hugely beneficial to our industry is, I guess it's the same thing on two sides of the same thing. One, all the stars and all the famous people, all the celebrities can all show up. You can get everybody from anywhere.
No one's working right now.
There's no travel conflict. There's no scheduling conflict. If you're awake, you can click the link and join in. So like for something with Force Fest, I know with a lot of the Star Wars stuff and a lot of the movie stuff in general, somebody's always working on some other film, so they couldn't make it to the in-person event. But everybody can make it to the virtual event, and it's true with the fan as well. If you're a fan and, maybe you're, for whatever reason, your job ties you down so you can't get to San Diego. You have no job, so you can't get to San Diego. For whatever reason, you find yourself unable to get to San Diego, New York, for all these things, for travel, for hotels, to feed yourself all that time. The ticket to the show, all those things.
It's expensive, man. We get like a discount because we're retailers, and it's still really expensive.
It's still
for
crazy.
Us.
And it's not even so much about the expense. Like I say, it's just about timing. If you have a serious job or a family or 1,000 other reasons why you might not be able to travel to a show, then
your job's not serious. You can go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Well, let's face it. Some people have more flexibility in their employment than others.
Yeah.
And so anybody can show up to the virtual event. If you work nights or whatever your thing is, just like the celebrities, you can click the link and join in. And so that makes it really great. There are obviously thousands and thousands of people who would love to go to shows, but for whatever reason they can't. And now they can. And secondly, you attract infinitely more casual fans. The casual fan will never do what it takes to get to San Diego Comic-Con. The casual fan can't do what it takes to go to San Diego Comic-Con. It just ain't going to happen. But a person with just a passing interest in something can go, oh, that looks like fun. Click the link, and now they're sucked in, and they're one of us.
One of us.
Which is part of why we do this show, honestly. Yeah. It's a little bit of outreach, a little bit of easy access for anybody that wants to get involved in comics. And like I talk about legacy numbers, like I talk about a lot of things, comics aren't inherently accessible. So these virtual events really, really make that work for people. So that's awesome.
Yes.
So again, kudos to all the different folks that are putting those together. And hey, Disney, wake up and put one together for Marvel. Because if DC has it, then Marvel has to have one, right? That's how these things work.
That's right.
All right, so shall we start talking about comic books on our comic book show?
Sure. comics.
Why don't you go first?
Okay.
Because Batman's always the thing.
Everyone wants to hear about Batman. So it's really this cover, because I've got the B cover because I like the cardstock stuff, but this is the A cover, which most folks got because it's also awesome. I haven't finished it, so a little disclaimer: I've been busy with the Kickstarter this week, so I haven't had a chance to read all of my books yet. But I did read the first story. So I didn't know that there was multiple short stories in here. I thought it was just one straight story, but there's actually like 4 or 5 in here, all written by different people. But the first one is Tinian, who, no spoilers, basically does a little dual slap to Tom King. It's basically his kind of take on Tom King's run. And I can't tell you a thing without spoiling it, but it was a very much like I watched it and went, oh, damn, no, he didn't. Because it was really like, wow, dude, wow, you went there. So if you're a fan of Batman, you're a fan of Tom King's stuff, and you're digging the Joker War book, you actually absolutely have to get this book. So there's like no, it's like you just have to. Sorry, I'm just telling you, you gotta read it. Art's great, story's great. I haven't read the other stories, but the first one was enough for the cover for the price of the book by itself. Damn, is all I'm gonna say.
Totally agree with that. And again, without spoiling anything,
have you read this yet, Michael?
I really enjoyed it because what can I say without spoiling anything? It's a story about ego, and you know, one thing that the Bat villains have over every other rogues gallery is that deep-seated narcissism. Every single one of them wants to be the best at 2 things. Every single one of them needs to be the best villain in Gotham, and that's a feat. And they need to beat the Batman, which is of course impossible. And so, like I say, this story lays out a lot of things about the what goes on between villains in Gotham, and that was really cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I always like it when the villains team up. You know, like what we're seeing in Joker War with Penguin and Catwoman and Riddler. Like, I love that stuff. I love the Joker War stuff, or the jokes of War of Jokes and Riddles that Tom King did. Oh my God, that was so good. And this is a little flavor of that.
Yes,
it's good. You're gonna like it.
All good things. And something that I said a lot in the Wednesday video, and I will say a few times, even though I don't think I have any of the annuals in this stack. It's a great example I always talk about. Buy those one-shots. Check out those one-shots. Check out those specials. People avoid specials and they avoid annuals because they're not part of the core series, because they're
sometimes they are, though.
Usually, most of the time they are. That's sort of my point. People skip on them because they're expensive. They skip on them because they're not part of the core series. But they are, in my opinion, always have great stories, great art, fun little things. And so they're always worth checking out.
Batman Annual 2, I think it was, is probably one of the best books ever written of all time. And it's not continuity, but it was just, I went through a whole box of tissues with that one.
Yep, that was one.
Damn you, Tom King!
One of the best single issue Batman stories ever. There is. While we're on that point, you mentioned War of Jokes and Riddles. I've said forever, as a trade paperback, as a graphic novel, I'll put War of Jokes and Riddles up against any other Batman book anybody wants to talk about. Arkham Asylum, anything you want to talk about. It really is. Because it shows you everything that you want and need to know about Gotham, about Batman, about the villains. Just an excellent story.
Good. So good.
And I mentioned at the top of the show, this is the 5th Wednesday, and that's sort of my segue to these things. 5th Wednesdays are always that week where they don't know what to ship. There's nothing in the core schedule. So you get things like the Joker War book. You get things like the Justice League annual that we got this week, like the Batman Superman annual. You get annuals, you get one-shots, you get specials just to sort of fill the week. And again, I always encourage folks to check those out because like this one, there's always at least one story in there that makes it worth the cover price. Good stuff. Why don't you just keep rolling? We'll finish the Joker
Batman
conversation while we're on.
I mean, how great is it that we get these 2 books in the same week? Like, come on.
2 beautiful Joker covers.
Love it.
I put them both up there because I thought that Batgirl cover was really great too.
Batgirl cover was good. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know, but I'm excited to read it. I shared with you last time when issue 1 came out. I'm super excited, except if it's some weird multi-universe thing, I'm out. Like, I'm done with that, you guys. Like, get some other creative ideas on writing, because this whole parallel universe thing is getting a little old, a little tired. But the art's beautiful, and I love Jeff Johns, so I'm going to give it a good read.
And only one more issue to go.
Speaking of, Multiverse's End. Scott Snyder. I'm lost. I'm still reading it, but I'm lost. That's all I'm going to say about the whole
I will
death metal
say,
stuff.
I don't know if I've ever seen a cover that has Captain Carrot and Uncle Sam. I am drawn to a book that has Captain Carrot and Uncle Sam. And if you don't know who Captain Carrot is, well, you're missing out. Oh, and Guy Gardner. It's just got it all there.
They're like in the Z list now, not even like the A list, B list. They're like Z list characters.
They're pulling out all the stops.
All the stops.
I'll give them that. Look, people seem to be digging it. They're,
Well, they're buying it. Are they digging it?
I guess that's a valid point.
So we need you to tell us.
To be seen. There you go.
Are you guys digging it?
Throw it out there, audience.
Are you digging all the death metal stuff?
Well, and this feeds into what I'm saying. Buy the one-shots. There are people that would just be buying Dark Knight metal. But this is like the 3rd or 4th one-shot that they've done.
But here's where I get confused. Some of the one-shots totally tie in to the main storyline, and some of them are completely different and have nothing to do with it, or like very loosely, like this is what's happening behind the scenes in this universe over here, and it's confusing, man.
Events are like that.
I don't want to have to use my brain.
I don't want to think.
Comics are for escape.
That part's true.
I don't have to think about it.
I'm willing to meet it in the middle. A lot of times I'm willing to go along for the ride. I'm willing to try, to keep up, all those kind of things. But it has to be fun. You've got to bring me along too.
Right.
Like I always say about Lost, if I really feel like you're only writing one issue ahead of the one I'm reading, then if I feel like you don't know where this is going, you lose me. But if I feel like you know where this is going and you're taking me there, well, then I'll go along for the ride. Which is, I don't know, can be tricky in comics sometimes, Grant Morrison, but
Grant Morrison.
But other times it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of Grant Morrison nods in the multiverse stuff that he's doing.
He wrote Multiversity.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, to his credit, was the good side of these things. It was all over the place. It was 50 different worlds and 50 different versions of every character you ever met. But it was slightly linear. It at least had a
circular
point.
Maybe?
That's a good way. It was swirly, but at least it stayed on the line. And like I say, I can go along with that ride if I think there's going to be a payoff.
Yeah. What you got?
Okay, so for me, I almost don't know where to start. I wish I had the A cover for Avengers because it was as cool as this one, but this was the week for me because I got Avengers 36. This is, of course, the B cover, the Alex Ross cover to Avengers 36. I mean, come on.
So I'm not reading it, but he's Ghost Rider. He's just recently made an Avenger or teaming up with him?
He's been in this run for a little while. Okay. Ghost Rider and the Avengers go, let's see, what's the legacy issue number on this? Legacy issue number is 736. Ghost Rider not as an Avenger, but in the Avengers, goes all the way back to 214, like 550 issues ago. So he has some history with the Avengers, but he's only been a member very recently.
Is he a member or is he like a hanger-on when things get rough?
That's always a question with a lot of Avengers. If you ask me, there are 4 Avengers, and everybody else is a hanger-on.
And the 4 Avengers are?
Cap, Thor, Iron Man, and the Wasp. And everybody else is at the writer's discretion.
Nice. Nice.
But if you ask this old Avengers fan, yes, there's the Marvel Trinity and the Wasp. Anyway,
Hulk's not part of that, huh?
no, the Hulk is actually only an Avenger for the first issue. In the second issue, he becomes their greatest enemy. So, Avengers 36, The Fist of Khonshu. If you're not reading the Avengers right now, you're missing out. And if you're not reading the Avengers, pick up this issue because you will not believe what happens on the last page. I know that's a thing that everybody throws around in comics, but this time I mean it. Wow, I'm just having so much fun with the Avengers right now.
Who's writing it? Sorry, jump spot again.
Yes, I thought so. I was going to say Jason Aaron, but I wanted to be right. Jason Aaron.
No wonder.
Of Thor fame.
I love that guy.
It's just so much fun. It's a little of what we're talking about with events because, side note, I always say that Avengers and Justice League should be the event books of Marvel and DC. But he's doing a great job. This book has
That's a good point. Can we just pause on that for a second? The event book should be in Avengers, X-Men, and Justice League. Yes. That's where all the characters
because
anyway.
That's where your core titles are. All the core characters have their own books that funnel into
you
those
should be
titles.
A publisher.
I should be an editor. So I'm loving Avengers right now because it's got too many good guys, too many bad guys, way too much going on, and you love every panel of it. You totally know what's going on. You totally understand everybody's purpose in the story. It's great storytelling with wonderful art. It's everything the Avengers should be, which is everybody versus everybody, a giant mob of heroes, and it's still not enough to save the world. Fun stuff going on. And like I say, the last page will blow you away. So tons and tons of fun with the Avengers. And while I'm on there is Savage Avengers. This is number 12. We haven't seen a Savage Avengers for a little while, and I just can't say enough about this book. If you're a little adverse to the dark, heavy stuff, obviously a book called Savage might not be for you. But it's the dark side of the Avengers, Conan, Punisher, Wolverine, Brother Voodoo, Cool and Gath is their main villain. On and on I could go. But a little like regular Avengers, for an old school Avengers guy like me, for a team up guy like me, it's just fun to see. Conan has no business teaming up with the Punisher. But here it is, and it all makes perfect sense. And it's really interesting to see the relationships of all these characters. Really interesting. They're not just all like thrown together and fight somebody. Like it's all organic, whatever you'd want to say. Really great stories, really great art. Pick up the first trade paperback or grab all the single issues. I think we have all the issues online, and it's really, really worth the read. Because like I say, it's what the Avengers should be, but kind of dark and kind of heavy. And I mean, Elektra. On and on it could go. Again, by all 12 issues, you will not regret it. It's a really, really fun read. Mike knows what I'm talking about.
Farhan, I'm not sure I understand your question. Will there be a second Kickstarter for cover B of a much more important comic? There's not. We talked about having a cover B in our current comic in the Kickstarter, but that hasn't happened. So no. But I don't know that I'm getting your question right. So
ideally, there won't be a second Kickstarter. We will hopefully get the first issue out and sell a ton of copies and get this whole thing rolling.
Yes.
That's true, Michael.
You want to repeat it for the YouTube guys?
Oh, for the YouTube. In a Michael Moorcock world, Conan and the Punisher would be all iterations of the Eternal Champion. That's really true. I think Conan is an excellent Marvel character for 1,000 reasons. I thought so in the 70s, and I really like what they're doing now. They're bringing him back because they're really incorporating that world into the Marvel world. And I think it serves, as it's a big fantasy world, it serves as the Marvel Universe Earth of 1,000 years ago or whatever. So I think Conan's a great addition, and it's fun to see him mixing it up with Punisher and Wolverine and Doctor Strange and all that kind of thing. It's a really, really fun title.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Farhan. am intrigued by this book. So this is another James Tinian, the fourth book on Image. It's called Department of Truth, and it's got, as you can see, our beloved JFK on the cover. I have no idea what it's about. My guess is it's going to be some secret department in the government that either creates creates lies and treats them as truth. We know a little something about that, don't we? But the art is pretty. See, what can I show you? The art's pretty abstract. It's a little. It's like Cal McDonald. It's Ben Templesmith. It looks like Ben Templesmith, but it's actually Martin Simmons. Let me show you this. Well, that's not really a good one.
I think the premise of the book is that all conspiracy theories are true. And it's up to these guys to like prove stuff.
So it looks like on the inside. Kind of muted colors, a little kind of scratchy art style, which kind of I think goes with the
noirish.
Yeah, goes with the theme of it being a little scratchy. So yeah, and then tell them about the cool cover that just showed up. You should go grab that.
I'll go grab that.
So
because I haven't seen anything about it online.
Yeah, out of nowhere. So Kazi, when we were pulling the books, we found this other kind of secret cover. So
that's exactly the term, is a secret variant. And you might recall Marvel did something like that a while back where where like every random one was a scroll cover. Well, here's your A cover, and that's good old JFK. And then what seems to be in about a 1:18 ratio is the other A cover. You might recognize him as the guy who shot Kennedy, or at least the guy who got shot because people thought he shot Kennedy. I mean, does anybody really know? So pretty cool, huh? I love secret variants. Like I say, they just sort of buried it in the print run. This is
how many we
one.
Got?
This
one.
That's why I say I think it's about a 1:18 ratio.
Are we selling it?
No. Because I usually either keep things like this or sit on them to see what happens. I was really surprised that I know there wasn't really any buzz about this online.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like going to be some kind of $100 thing. It's just kind of weird. But I thought it was cool, again, Kennedy cover.
And it's the same barcode.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Like I say, it's pretty much the A cover, but just sort of randomly inserted. So be on the lookout for that one because that's really cool.
So, hey, give me mine back.
There you go.
Thank you. And then I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited for the Wonder Woman 1984. Wonder Woman.
One of the most anticipated movies ever, I think.
I'm so excited. I hope that they do it in like a drive-through. Maybe we can find a drive-through to go to because I am not sitting in a theater.
No, but I would definitely be into a drive-in. Yeah. That would be fun.
Oh, total Linda Carter in here. So this like the Joker War looks like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 different stories in it. Good art. Fun times.
Anything Wonder Woman.
I mean, that's fun. That's a little weird. That's a little weird, right? This is a little weird. Look at her arms. Does she have all these arms? Is she that fast? Or does she grow arms?
There's something to be said for drawing some of them blurry.
Yeah, that's good editor's job. Right there.
See, there I go again.
There he is.
It's not that I edit, it's that I've read 400,000 comics and there's ways you do things.
Oh, there's sharks.
Ooh, everybody likes things with sharks. And again, special like this, super accessible to anybody. Fine. You don't have to know the 80 years of Wonder Woman's history. You just pick up the book and read it. And that's always fun.
It looks like it would be good for 13 plus. So it'd be good for younger audiences too. Not to say that it's childish in any way, but it looks like it's not overly violent or anything like that. So it'd be good for a younger audience also. That's what I got for the week.
Super sweet. Okay, boy, so many things to talk about. Let's talk about this guy really quick. This is the Giant Size X-Men tribute. I talk about this. I'll repeat a couple of other things that I said in the video. Everybody, anywhere, ever needs a copy of this book. You need a copy of this book, and you need a copy, the facsimile, since the original issue will cost you anywhere from $500 to $5,000.
Firstborn.
Can't say enough about this. Okay, what is it? So this is a tribute to Len Wein and Dave Cockrum. Is Wonder Woman 84 one shot? I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah.
See. So, I mean, if you're watching a show at a comic book store, you know about Giant Size X-Men. You know that this is one of the most pivotal comics of all time. It is one of the most important Bronze Age books, certainly one of the most important Marvel comics there is.
Why?
Why? Because it is the first appearance of all the new X-Men, except for Wolverine. This is the second appearance of Wolverine.
Also created by Len Wein.
This is the beginning of everything that everybody knows about the X-Men.
So modern era X-Men.
The original X-Men is probably Stan and Jack's only, I don't want to call it failure, but it was their only non-success. The X-Men, original X-Men, was not a success. The book got canceled, went into reprint for years, and then they said, hey, I got an idea, let's try something new, a team with somebody from, all the members are from a different country. Okay, great. And that's where you get the all-new, all-different X-Men. And it changed comics. It changed everything about comics. And everybody, most people know the name Len Wein, and Len Wein gets a lot of credit. Not enough people know the name Dave Cockrum. Dave Cockrum doesn't get nearly the amount of credit that he deserves for his co-creation of all the new X-Men. Everybody knows Claremont and Byrne. Lord knows I go on about John Byrne all the time. But none of us would be anywhere X-Men-wise without Dave Cockrum. So this book is a tribute to those two greats. They took Len's original script as a honor to him, and wrapped it, gathered a whole bunch of new artists, and all did very similar art to what Dave Cockrum did. It's the art that you would see in the original book, but done by new artists. And like I say, I love tribute books. I love anything that brings attention to the original creators, especially unheralded original creators.
Yeah.
And again, it's a really, really super fun read. And it will give you that flashback feel. If you don't know where the new X-Men come from, if you haven't read this story before, it's a real treat. Even if you're an indie fan, a DC fan, whoever you are, this book is a real treat, just like everything by Len Wein. And so, like I say, kudos to Marvel for putting this together. Kudos to all the fans who had this on their list and didn't want to miss out. And like I say, anything that Michael's with me, anything that says Len Wein on it deserves your money. And this was a really, really fun book. All kinds of different artists. Like I say, just can't say enough about it.
Well, and speaking of Michael, you probably remember the story of Len Wein and Marv Wolfman being young kids going and hanging out and having sandwiches with Jack Kirby and his wife, and them just kind of shooting the you-know-what, and talking about comics and talking about his time in the bullpen. And yeah, so if you're a Jack Kirby fan, which I know you are, you're also going to probably be a Marv Wolfman and Len Wein fan.
And if you're just getting into the X-Men, and then all the stuff with Krakoa and whatever, it's a neat kind of fun see how it all has come together over 30 years plus. Anyway, really, really fun book, beautiful cover, etc., etc., etc. Where are we on time? I guess we're winding down a little bit, but I had to mention, because of all these beautiful covers back here, let me move out of the way of those 4 beautiful covers and show you the A cover.
So
this is Fantastic Four number 24. You know I'm a big FF fan. This is your jump-in point after all the Empire stuff. This is a sort of one-off before they promise all kinds of big changes in issue 25. I love FF, and much like the Avengers, boy, they're bringing their A game with this book. Ever since the relaunch, it is what the Fantastic Four is supposed to be, what it should be. If you read Empire, I hope it motivated you to start picking up Fantastic Four. Because it's action, it's adventure, it's science fiction, but it's I don't know, lighthearted, I guess is a word, though that's probably too strong a word. I don't know, it's superheroics, but it's fun. This story is about the time that Iceman filled in for the Human Torch, and it's sort of a retro flashback.
That's funny.
It's just super cool. And a little like you said about the Wonder Woman book, it's something I talk about all the time. Something can be kid appropriate, but being for everybody. Just because something is for kids doesn't mean it's not for you.
Right.
Things like this are fun to be read by anybody and everybody. And like I say, I'm a big fan of Fantastic Four, always have been, and it's a great time to be an FF fan. If you're not reading the book, pick up this one, like I say, because it's kind of a one-off, and get ready for the big number 25. As they say, promise all sort of changes. And come on, look at those 4 covers. This might be one of the best thing covers I've seen in a long time. If you watch the Cosby's Classic show, I mentioned the Ben Grimm issue of Marvel Fanfare. That's probably previously my favorite Ben Grimm cover. But, I mean, look at that. Alex Ross, just a singular talent. That's just absolutely amazing.
Aren't we lucky that he didn't become like some graphic designer for ads? Like he decided
for sure.
to use his talents in comics.
He's one of those people, like a lot of artists, who I really appreciate they work in comics because they could obviously make more money doing something else. Alex Ross could get a job in some other field and be paid very well. He could be working in Hollywood and get paid very well.
He kind of is, right?
I suppose so. He does work. Yeah, that Marvel thing that they run before all the movies is Alex Ross.
So should we talk about what's coming next week?
Sure.
Okay. So I am super excited because Neil Gaiman's Norse Mythology #1 comes out. That book was so good. So for those of you that don't know, Neil Gaiman was turned on to Thor and the whole Norse mythology through Jack Kirby, Stan Lee's work. And so that kind of spurred him into looking into mythologies. And some might say spur him as a writer. Who knows? So he wrote a book called Norse Mythologies where he took the traditional Norse mythologies and retold them. And so now they're being adapted by P.K. Russell, which is one of the greatest artists of all time. For I think Dark Horse, and so the issue #1 comes out on Wednesday. Super excited for that one.
Anything Neil Gaiman, and of course Batman 100 comes next week. Everybody's been amped up for that one too. Getting back to all the Joker War stuff.
Is that the last Tinian run?
I don't think he's leaving the book, but of course it should wrap up all the Joker War stuff. But like I say, I don't think he's leaving the title.
I thought he was done like after 105, but
maybe. Either way, I don't know who's taking over after him, and I don't know who's taking over Superman from Bendis.
They announced the Batman writer in the DC virtual Comic-Con, but I didn't recognize the name, so we'll all be surprised.
There you go. Like I say, I'm really curious what they're doing with Superman when Bendis leaves. He's only got about 3 issues to go.
And then American Vampire. So Scott Snyder's coming back to American Vampire, 1976. That comes out on Wednesday as well. So great, gritty vampire horror stuff right up my alley. So that's coming on Wednesday.
Be a little more something than the Dark Knight metal stuff. Should make a little more sense than some of the metal books.
One would hope. It is Halloween, so hopefully we're going to get Werewolf by Night at some point this month.
Hopefully, yeah.
It's way late.
While you mention Halloween, as we begin to wind it down, let's say real quick about what is the plan for this year's Spooktacular.
So the Friday before Halloween, so that would be Friday, October 30th, right? I think it's the 30th. We're doing Kazi's Classics at 6 p.m. Pacific time, where he'll have spooky horror books that he'll put up for Kazi's Classics. And then we're going to...
I can't reach it. I was going to show you Werewolf by Night. Maybe you can see it up there. I don't know.
Maybe not. And then we're going to take a little break. And then at 7 o'clock, we're going to do a Zoom session of haunted stories. So if you guys want to write some stuff, if you want to draw some stuff and share it, we're going to have just a little, fireside chat online.
Or if you just want to join in and listen to some creepy, crawly stories, then it'll be tons of fun. Because this is Black Cat Comics, so we're not letting Halloween get by us. We always, for 18 years, we put something cool and fun together for Halloween, this year's going to be no different.
I have the first Black Cat Tales comic already written. I could read that.
There you go. As always, follow along with the newsletter. Yep. Keep up with the show and whatnot, and
post events.
And keep up with the events page at black-cat-comics.com, and you will be in the know with this year's spooktacular.
Spectacular. And then check out black-cat-publishing.com for our Kickstarter updates.
Yep. The Kickstarter will run through the 31st.
Halloween.
So if you would like to contribute or contribute again, you're free to do that. And of course, if you would like to show your support by going to the page, sharing the page, talking it up with all your friends, family, enemies, arch enemies, whatever have you, that's always appreciated. Because it's October, it's all about Black Cat this month.
And we had a couple people ask about what's the Wall of Infamy. So that's part of one of the packages. The Wall of Infamy is basically you can submit a picture of your black cat or a cat of your choosing, and we'll have like a page in the comic of a bunch of people's cats. And I just think that's a cool idea. I want to see everyone's cats.
That's true, especially black cats.
Yeah, especially black cats. So that's what that is.
Good fun.
Good times.
So we've got a few minutes left. Go ahead and throw those questions, comments at us. What are you guys reading this week? What did you read last week? What are you looking forward to? What's the book at the top of the stack this week? We're always curious to hear what you guys got going on.
This is one. This is second, I think, for me.
There you go. You talked about most of what I had. What's the last thing you mentioned would be this guy. Excited to see Shang-Chi come back to comics. Good fun.
So my only exposure to him is through the Netflix show. And so when I saw
what Netflix show?
Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu on Netflix. Am I thinking of somebody else?
Are you thinking of Iron Fist?
I'm thinking of Iron Fist.
Yes.
Different character. Yes, I've been in comics for 20 years.
Gene Yang, isn't he local?
He is. Yeah, he's in Milpitas.
There you go.
Gene Yang, come over and, well, don't come over because we can't. We're closed.
But yeah, super cool to see him back in comics. He's been away for far too long, and it's great. Much like Conan, I as a kid, I bought Shang-Chi and I bought Conan when I had all the other books on the spin rack, because he didn't have superpowers.
So what's the difference between Shang-Chi and Iron Fist? Iron
Fist has superpowers. Because Shang-Chi is master of Kung Fu.
He predates Bruce Lee, right?
No, he's basically pretty much a total Bruce Lee knockoff, which is kind of why you haven't seen him in comics, because there was a time when he was considered kind of a stereotype, but like a lot of great characters, the reverse is true. If he's a stereotype, he's also very iconic, and you get all that from the cover. Cool dragons and fire and kung fu. It's just awesome. So anyway, just had to show that cover and had to mention how cool it is to see Shang-Chi back in comics.
Yeah,
it's always fun to jump in on a first issue.
Yes.
And again, like I say, as I imagine, Michael says, I enjoyed Shang-Chi back in the day. Picked up a new book based on your recommendation. Looks like I'll be adding it to my list. Well, there you go.
Please check it out. See if you like it. First one or two.
And that was, like he said, that was my thing back in the 70s. Look at the spin rack. Oh, I've got Spider-Man. I got Cap. I got this. Okay, I guess I'll buy Shang-Chi.
Right.
And then you read it. It was awesome because it's kung fu. What's not to like? Good stuff. And like I say, I also like Conan. It's fun when they branch out. Not everybody needs to be, super powered and caped and the whole bit.
Tights.
Good
Some
stuff.
tights, just less.
Like I say, for a Fifth Wednesday, a lot of good things to talk about. A lot of good books out this week.
I got some chunky books to read.
Could be a good week. Could be a good week next week.
Next week will be good.
Good times.
Every day, every minute is good.
That's right. Especially in 2020. Every day above ground is a good day.
Boy, we need comics more than ever, don't we?
That's it. Well, again, thank you guys for your support of Black Cat Publishing.
Thank you.
Thank you, as always, for being here, joining us on the show. We do it for you. As we say at the top, we're here to keep you connected to the comic book community. You can find us here every Saturday at 2 p.m. and you can come back on Sunday 2 p.m. for Matchbox versus Hot Wheels. Had some pretty exciting days at the races last couple of weeks.
It was, yeah, I was holding my breath.
Been moving the tracks, moving the cars, but Hot Wheels is on a tear. Hot Wheels is on a tear.
Switching it up.
Tune in tomorrow to see who's going to win this week.
We're working on a special guest too, but we
yeah.
can't say who because we haven't confirmed it yet.
We haven't confirmed anything, but we're always trying to bring special guests to this show, bring industry folks, and we've got a really great one on the hook. So hopefully we'll get all that worked out and have more details for you next week.
It's gonna be awesome sauce, as the kids say.
So thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for your support in all things Black Cat. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye.